Our hymn of preparation this morning is found on page 420. I come with joy, and we'll sing verses 1 and 2. One of my favorite New Testament stories is the one commonly known as On the Road to Emmaus. Two men who are acquainted with Jesus and his teachings are going home from Jerusalem. Jesus joins them on the road, but they fail to recognize him. When Jesus asks them what they are talking about, they tell him about the tragic events that they have just witnessed, how the Jewish religious leaders handed Jesus over to be executed, and how his body had disappeared from the tomb. Jesus begins to teach them about how this death and resurrection are a fulfillment of prophecy, and all that has happened was necessary for that fulfillment. But the men still do not recognize him. It isn't until he sits down to supper with them and takes the bread and blesses it that they finally recognize him. When we gather around the table, we are like those men on the road to Emmaus. Each time we do this, we see a little bit more of the purpose of Jesus' life, death, and resurrection. Each time we do this, we learn and grow in faith. Oh God, as we gather around this table, we look at these emblems and remember a sacrifice. We see a figure of Christ hanging from a cross, but we also see a triumph over death and sin. Help us to be continually thankful for this gift. Amen. On the night that Jesus was betrayed, he took some bread and he broke it, and he gave it to his disciples, and he said, "Take this, eat it, as often as you do this in remembrance of me." And then he took a cup of wine and he passed it around to his disciples, and he said, "This is the new covenant in my blood. As often as you drink this, do it in remembrance of me." For as often as we eat the bread and drink from the cup, we proclaim the Lord's death and resurrection until he comes again. Amen.